Part 7 of reading every X-Men comic ever. This time, it's the end of the Silver Age X-Men run with issues 56 to 66. X-Men 56 finishes the arc from issues 54 and 55, with the Living Pharaoh escaping the X-Men custody with Alex Summers and uses him to become a giant. As stupid as this arc was, I enjoyed it. 5 out of 10. X-Men 57, 58, and 59 mark the return of the Sentinels, and they are back with a vengeance. The vengeance of Larry Trask, that is. He blames the X-Men for the murder of his father, Bolivar Trask. Lawrence here might be a fear-mongering jackass, but boy can he build a robot, because these Sentinels capture pretty much every mutant we have seen up to this point, except for Beast, Cyclops, and a Marvel Girl. While all that's happening, Larry gets angry, orders all mutants dead, then gets clocked by a judge, and it turns out he too is a mutant. Ironic. The remaining X-Men break into the Sentinels' base, disguise themselves as different mutants to fool the Sentinels, and Cyclops beats them with a logic puzzle that sends them into the sun. This arc rocks. Easily the best one of the entire Silver Age run, and it's mostly carried by Neil Adams' art. Issue 57 gets a 5 out of 10. Issue 59 gets a 6 out of 10, and issue 58 gets the first ever 7 out of 10. In X-Men 60 and 61, Scott leaves his brother with a kinda sketchy doctor named Carl, who, unbeknownst to anyone else, has to absorb the energy from people to live. When he absorbs the energy from a mutant, he discovers he turns into a pterodactyl man, fully embraces evil, names himself after the BBEG of Lord of the Rings, and starts robbing people. He fights the X-Men, and one of them points out that he was going to kill a guy, and he has a mental break, flees to America, and runs off a cliff. I can't decide if finding out Sauron here is just shitty Morbius makes him better or worse. So X-Men 60 gets a 5 out of 10, and 61 gets a 6 out of 10. X-Men 62 and 63 has the X-Men return to the Savage Land looking for Sauron's body, but once again encounter the locals. Angel dies from exhaustion, but is brought back by an old man who convinces Angel that he's just trying to do what Professor X did for them, but in the Savage Land. And so Angel got played as that man is actually Magneto. He's creating neo-mutants by kidnapping savage people and injecting them with South Pole energies. The X-Men team up with Kazar to stop Magneto, who ultimately is defeated by his own sexism. These are okay issues. They both get 5s. In X-Men 64, Sunfire appears on scene filled with angst against the US for the atomic bombings that happened before he was born. It's a kind of compelling story, if not a little tragic, so 6 out of 10. X-Men 65, under the threat of alien invasion, Chuck returns from the not-so-dead to rally the X-Men and the entire population of Earth. A last-ditch effort to push the enemies back. Didn't really hit as well as it could have. I think it would have been a really good final issue, but it wasn't. 5 out of 10. Finally, we have X-Men 66 as the team fight the Hulk so they can get a device to wake Chuck from his coma. It sucks that this is the last new issue for this run, because it's easily the worst one of this batch, so 4 out of 10. And with that, Silver Age X-Men is complete.